Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'd like to make a video in regards to my Pokemon collection. As mentioned in my last video, collections, I don't really have many. I've never really set out to collect anything other than Pokemon. Now this is my entire collection minus Pokemon Shield, which I have got, but unfortunately one of my children has stolen it temporarily from me. I've also got a download of it on my Switch. Because my child stole it from me, I wanted to play it, and evidently instead of buying the physical copy, I've just done a digital download of it. So I have got Pokemon Shield, but it is currently in somebody else's Switch. So first of all, Pokemon for me started back 1999, I believe. The first games come out in the UK. We've got Pokémon Blue and Pokémon Red. Now look at the state of these. I hope it's not just me, but when we were children, yanking the labels off just seemed to be a thing. I mean, my best friend's copies are immaculate. For whatever reason, he saw sense at his young age and didn't rip the labels off. But me, yeah, like a lunatic, I tore the labels, and now they look like they've been savaged by a wild beast. But they still work. Unfortunately, the batteries have run out. I have tested them and they have run out, so I can't show you my original save files because they are no more. So what we'll do in future episodes, I might actually rechange the batteries and plug these in, and we'll have maybe a little playthrough of each of these. Okay, so let's lose those now. Pokemon Silver. This is one of my favourite games of all time, to be quite honest. And the Soul Silver and Heart Gold are my favourite Pokemon games of all time. But this game, absolutely fantastic. Plugging it into my original Game Boy. Unfortunately, I didn't have a Game Boy Color back then. I skipped that scenario. I had the original big block yellow OG Game Boy. So we mustered through. Again, my friend that I used to play Pokemon with continuously, he had a Game Boy Color, and this looked so much better, so much better. But in time, when I got the Game Boy Advance, this was brilliant. This was brilliant. I still went back to this regularly. Again, unfortunately, no battery in this. It has run out, so we do need to change that. And again, it might be something in the future that we revisit. The only thing that puts me off now, these old games, is that there's no way of transferring the Pokemon up to the new games, the new series. So the kind of, other than playing the game, the moving Pokemon forward is no more. So that is quite a sad scenario, and unfortunately, it leaves a little situation where, is there any point of playing the game? Especially when you can, and I have got the virtual console on the 3DS where I have got these games, and as it stands at the moment, I can transfer them up to the new generation. Unfortunately, again, that is something that's quite possibly going to disappear in the very near future. So after that, we moved on to the Game Boy Advance games. Now, unfortunately, these aren't my original copies because, again, as a child, when new games come out, I would trade them in because I didn't have an unlimited amount of money, and I would, obviously get the newer games or get other things that I wanted. So I have reacquired these over time, and this, I might add, is expensive. I think you can pick up a copy of this boxed is like £250. I picked this copy up for 110, 120, I think, thereabouts, and it is in good condition. I mean, there's a tiny bit of discoloration to the label, but nothing, deal breaking. And it is a genuine copy. One thing you must look at if you're collecting these games is for the genuine copies, and you can tell normally, if we can get a view on this, you can't really see it on here, Let's have a look. You can see kind of through the back of the shell, you can see what type of board it has. And I don't collect the American ones because it seems that the American ones are flooded, absolutely flooded, with fakes. Let's have a look on the back of this one. Yeah, so you can see the three marks down there of the board on the back, and you can see this is a genuine copy. But yeah, so these are fantastic games. I've only just recently completed them, to be honest with you. So what I thought I might do is show you some of where I am with each of the Pokemon games. This might take a little while, but hang in there because I think it will be worth it. The amount of hours I've put into these games. The old entrance is fantastic. So this one I have completed, 45 hours, 57. As I say, it's only recently that I've completed it, to be quite honest. But the graphics on these games, when they're put into a decent SP or Game Boy Advance with a backlit screen, absolutely brilliant. So let's have a look at who I've got here. Travis. I think I named these. My daughter helped me name this. I think these are named after Travis Scott. As to why, I don't know. But yeah, obviously being being an old game, trying to get this into an Alakazam would have been a bit of a mission. So I didn't bother. We carried on the playthrough with a Kadabra. So ever so squishy, but still had a little bit of power going on there. So okay, we're not in a Pokemon Center. Let's go and quickly check a PC, shall we? I don't even know how to. Let's fly. I'm glad I've got something with fly in my team. Old Al, here we come. Here we are. Okay. Right, so this is literally all I've got at the moment as it sits. Delroy, the Makita. No idea why. But, again, Cornelius. So, look, Cornelius, he is, at some point, going to make his way. And it's got to be soon because I'm not going to be able to transfer these at some point. But I've got to move this onto a newer game. It is a bit of a palaver, but Cornelius must survive because I have a thing about Ludicolo, and they must, or Ludicolos, or however you want to pronounce it. I have a thing about them, and I have many Ludicolos on all of my games. So he must be saved. But as I say, it needs to be put into a DS Lite with another game. I think you can do it straight to Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and then it's got to go up to Black and White possibly, and then on to the other games, and then it can move across. But we'll do that. We will do that. Okay. So let's come out of this box. Turn that one off. Absolutely fantastic game though. If you haven't got it, well worth getting. And then we've got Pokemon Green. Now, Leaf Green was one of my first games to get shinies on. Okay, I don't know about you, but shinies now. There was nothing like, in the old games, obtaining a shiny Pokemon. The amount of time it took, if you were specifically hunting, absolutely off the charts. Now, on the newer games, Scarlet, Violet, I mean, I find them within sort of the first 10, 15 minutes of the game. I don't get the same buzz, unfortunately, anymore from shiny hunting, and I don't really do it now, to be quite honest. Not for, for anything specific. Sometimes when there's like a mass outbreak or something, just to pick one up. But again, bang a sandwich on and it takes me 10 minutes. So, it's not like these, but this game, or the original version of this game, I found 2 shiny Fearow on the islands, and it was absolutely fantastic. The feeling you get from getting a shiny on one of these games, or the original games, absolutely off the chart. Unless you've done it, you won't understand. The accomplishment that you feel is brilliant. So let's have a little look at this party here. So we've got Terry, Terry the Clefable. Oh, I think we went for a little bit of a wrestling scenario here. I'm a big wrestling fan, so it's understandable. But as to why I've got Kane the Venusaur, nobody knows. And we've got Hulk Hogan, rest in peace, the late Hulk Hogan. The Gyarados. Met on Route 4, level 5. We all know where that came from, don't we? Fatty Pat? Yeah, these names aren't getting any better, are they? Right, okay. Shall we try and find... Actually, let's go to a Pokemon Center and have a quick look. Fatty Pat. Unreal. Unfortunately, no shiny Fearow here. I can only presume the shiny Fearows are no more, unfortunately, and that is sad, but life. Let's have a look. So we've got Tyson Fury, the Primeape. As you can see, because these are obviously playthroughs that I've done recently, I haven't gone crazy and started filling boxes full of Pokemon. I've done a few, but I haven't completed the dexes or anything like that. I don't see the point, to be quite honest now, because it's just an absolute mission to get anything off of here, and again, time moves on. But yeah, so that is my copy of Leaf Green. Again, a fantastic game and well worth a try out. And then we've got Sapphire. I believe I've completed this as well. It's a shame you can't have more than one save file because my son wants to play them. But I'll be honest with you, I don't want him to ruin my save files. So, with these... Oh, what's happened with this one? Have I not completed this one? Clearly not, because I've got 1 potion and no Pokemon. So this is going to be a need to play. Perhaps I lent this to my son and he started again. Who knows? But really good original. I got Pokemon Ruby. Now, unfortunately, I've still got that Pokemon Ruby, but I tried to change out the battery on it. And I think where I was inexperienced when I changed it, I took one of the very small capacitors off, or capacitors, not capacitors, fuses. And anyway, I tried, it's so small, I tried to put it back on with my soldering iron that I had at the time, and it wasn't a precision soldering iron. I've got a better one now, but it wasn't, and I think I fried something, because every time I put it into a Game Boy of any nature, it destroys the Game Boy. It just doesn't work no more. I get a screen of death, and then I get like lights not working, and a couple of switch lights I've done it to, and I did it to my 3DS. No, not this 3DS. What was it? What was it? Hold on one moment. It was oh yes, one of these. So I plugged it in here, and yeah, it stopped working. So I've had to change several of the fuses on here, F1 and F2, I think it was, to fix the issue and get them up and running again. So I've put it into a safe storage location, never to be touched again, until I feel brave enough to plug it back in. But it's going to be a scenario where I need time to fix the Game Boy if I try and fix the game, because the chances are it's all going to go wrong. So that's my collection of Game Boy Advance games. As you notice, I'm missing Pokemon Yellow from the original and Gold, and I'm missing a decent copy of Ruby and Fire Red from the Game Boy Advance copies. The only reason why I haven't picked those up is because, one, I can't find the decent labelled versions, and if I do, they're obscenely priced at the moment. Pokemon games are crazy priced, so I haven't gone specifically out to look for some. But I will do. I will complete the collection. I've got, moving on, we've got let's have a look what's next. Soul Silver, and let's talk about Soul Silver and Heart Gold. I've got both of the copies here, and they are again genuine copies, in good condition as well. But I've also got the boxes. Now, let's have a look. This is my Soul Silver box. Now, this is in pretty good nick, to be fair. There's a little bit of discoloration, and I need to get a sleeve for it, to be quite honest. But let's very carefully, he says, crumpling the box. It is slightly crumpled already on there where someone's opened it, obviously. But let's have a look. This is complete. It's got obviously the actual case. It's got the Poker Walker book, and it's got a Poker Walker that has not been, I don't believe it's been used yet. I've still got the tag in it, look. These are fantastic. I've got the clips as well in the box. But yeah, I never got one of those till later on, the Poker Walkers. So I never actually used it, but I've seen videos of them, and I mean, back in the day I probably would have used it. But I like the idea of popping a Pokemon in there, walking along, getting experience. I think a lot of people had those Tamagotchis back in the day. I mean, they're called Tamagotchis. And I think it was a similar sort of scenario. But yeah, having something like that would have been fantastic. Don't get little gimmicks like that really now. And this is my gold. Now, my gold box, yeah, this has seen better days, but it is still good. I can take stuff out of this one because it's in not as good condition. So yeah, we've got the Poker Walker obviously in there. That one has been used, but I've got the look at the booklet. Let's have a little look at this booklet, because I love looking at booklets like this. You don't get booklets no more. You get a couple of promotional codes if you're lucky, and like a reversible sleeve, but you don't get any of these. Oh, look at this. This the coloration. Look at this, fantastic. It actually tells you how to do the battles and stuff. Like, obviously you need help doing battles in Pokemon, but basic controls, starting the game, options. Look how good this is. Where to find Pokemon. Experience points, evolution. a Pokemon egg. Now look, the breeding center. There's a thing, right? We all lived. Obviously, if you did competitive Pokemon, the breeding center was massive, and it was fantastic because you pop your Pokemon in, get your egg, run around, blah blah blah. But this new picnic, this new picnic scenario, oh my lord, it's not for me. I don't want to make a sandwich to get an egg. who come up with this idea of making sandwiches to get eggs? Who even and find them in picnic baskets? Like the Pokemon deposits the egg after mating into a picnic basket. Why? And the thing is as well, if you leave it long enough, you've got, you can get sort of 10, 20 eggs in this picnic basket. I mean, how was this Mary Poppins handbag? You know, I don't understand it all, to be quite honest with you. Bring back the breeding centre. Hashtag bring back the breeding centre. Right, anyway, that's my rant about breeding centre scenario. I still haven't found it in after games. I'm sure it's there. Right, talking to your Pokemon. What we got? Pokemon Centre, healing your Pokemon, the Pokemart. Safari Zone. Ooh, that Safari Zone was it was brilliant but infuriating. Can you remember, like, when Chansey appeared? Wild Chansey. What do you do? Throw a rock at it? Or do you put bait out? Either way, it was running away. You know, if you found a shiny one, you're doomed. Absolutely doomed. What we got? Various items. Surf. Hidden TMs. Yes. Look, this gives you a step-by-step guide in case you didn't know how to do it and you haven't been and watched hundreds of YouTube videos on how to do it. In this book, it actually physically tells you how to transfer Pokemon over from the original games. Yeah, I'll put it on screen so you can copy it if you want. Absolutely brilliant. Gym leaders. Tells you all the gym leaders in here if you want spoilers before you play the game. You can do your drawing scenario. If you haven't played these games, honestly, 100% play them because they are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And you've got both Johto and the original game in one game. It's absolutely brilliant. You go back to Kanto and fight the gym leaders there as well, which is brilliant. You know, 2 regions in one game. So yeah, this tells you communications center, voice chat, global terminal. So this is when we had instruction booklets and there's a bit of information about the Pokewalker on here. Again, pause the video if you want to have a look at that. Platinum version, Art Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond, Pearl, all the same generation. But that gives you all the information as to what you can do, where you put it in Colosseum and what have you, Frontier. And the hotline, there we are. Give them a call. 24-month warranty. Absolutely brilliant. So they are my not original, but they are my copies of Pokemon Gold and Silver. If I could ever put the box back together. Okay, so we'll put them there. But those go for, you know, sort of £250, £300 a pop now. And I'm not surprised because they are brilliant games. So we've got, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's pop one in and see where I am with those. If it ever comes up, here we are. So as I mentioned before, I'll tell you what, let's lose the volume in case that does something to me. I've got the original games on here as well. So we've got Pokémon Blue, Crystal, got Gold, Red, Yellow, Silver, an all-important Pokemon Bank. Now, I picked these all up, I think, just before it all closed down because they had a big sale on it. So grab them before they went scenario, and they are really good, actually, to be honest with you. They're a good representation of the old game. Well, they are the old game, just put on here, but obviously you don't get a nostalgic feeling by picking up a Game Boy and what have you, but they are a good way of playing the old games and obviously transferring the stuff over. So let's go back onto Pokemon. Again, this is one of the best intros. There it is. Hello. Love to see it. Let's see where we are with this. Oh, blimey, I haven't played this one much either. See, I went through a phase of restarting all of these. I think I was shiny hunting on this game to do a shiny hunt playthrough. I have to get Stardust out in a minute. Yeah, we've got Flame. So, this is what the graphics is like. The old top down. But I love how on this games the Pokemon follows you. I mean, I do on some of the newer games, in the Sword and Shield, Isle of Armor and what have you, they follow you around. And obviously in the Scarlet and Violet, you've got them around all the time. You can throw them out and move about. But having them follow around, especially if they were shiny, you could see the shiny sprites. Absolutely fantastic. So let's close that one. And then we'll pop this in. Who else still loves the 3DS? Honestly. Fantastic design. So we got in here. We started this one as well. Hold on. I don't think I've started this one yet because this was Mark. Let's see what Mark's done. Let's see what Mark's about. Mark, if you're watching, you gave up too soon, mate. Well, that's not overly interesting, is it, Mark? You haven't done justice to that game. So, there we are. But those are brilliant. Those two games, grab them. If you get a chance to. I mean, obviously, I don't expect you to get the big box because, again, unless you're a hardcore collector of Pokemon, then there's just no point because, say, the box copy is 250, 300 quid a pop. But, if you are collecting, then, yeah, get a decent copy of it. Obviously, don't get all fried up box like my gold version. Get a decent box like the silver. So, then obviously after that, we moved on to... Let's go on to Pokemon Pearl. I know obviously everybody said that Pokemon Platinum was the best one, and I can understand and appreciate that. especially with the new pearl and what have you. This one obviously needs cleaning. One second. The old blow technique works again. Clearly the contacts in either the Game Boy or the game need cleaning. But as they sit there over years, they collect dust and all sorts, so it's understandable. There he is. I love how these games have the little bit at the start. Tells you what you've been doing previously. Oh, been ganged up on. Let's have a look. King Louis. Here he is. King of the Swingers. He's Jungle VIP, didn't you know? Right, we got. Let's have a little look at this. Starly. Bidoof. Shinx. Cricketop. And Badoo. Here he is. So we've not got a huge amount of progress on here either. As I say, I've restarted most of these just to play through them and scratch some itches every now and then I get. So 3 hours of that one. We'll find something good on some of them in a minute. I think the problem is, like a lot of people, as soon as the new games come out and the whole transfer scenario, I transferred everything, or tried to start transferring everything over. So what we got here, this is Pokémon Diamond. Another iconic tune. There it is. This is one I've picked up from CEX and not even started this one. This is by someone called Charlie. I don't know where. Let's have a look. This is intriguing. Let's have a look, see what Charlie's about. Okay. He's got a bit of a. Oh, okay, right. Standard. Is it genuine? Who knows? It's got a master board attached. Right, okay. So either this person was a hardcore shot. I mean, to be fair, it's not everything's. Oh, they're all in master balls. Okay. Okay. So we know what's happened here, don't we, people? Let's go and have a look at the box. I think a restart on this one's going to be required. I'm not keeping those little puppies. Right, so it's got a shiny Arceus in a Master Ball, shiny Cresselia in a Master Ball, shiny Blastoise in a Master Ball, a non-shiny Garantina in a Master Ball. I mean, does this person struggle catching things? I don't know. Lugia's in a Cherish Ball. And it was met at level 99 on Route 205. Oh, I love this. Where was this met? Met at level 30. Met at level 99. These are obviously all genuine. This one clearly isn't. Okay, so he's got, clearly he's got, oh, that's in his rare box. Well, it's in his rare box because it's rare to find one that's genuine in there. Right. These are all his normal Poke. These must be, oh, we've got a shiny Starmie. Met at level 99. Okay. Let's have another look. Who's that? Dad's boy. Okay. So they've labelled all the boxes. These are all level 100. They were Flymaster. See if there's anything else that's crazy in here. Oh, we've got a shiny Croconaw. Shiny Kingler. Normal Garchomp. Met at level 15, so this is probably a genuine Garchomp. It's in a Great Ball, so what else we got? Oh, I didn't notice that before. Male and female for bigger horn. There you go. There you go. Right. Yeah, we've got a shiny Quilava there and Typhlosion. Shiny Arbok. Okay. I think we've seen enough of that. So that is an example of someone hacking in their Pokemon. There you go. And then we've got, now, I got this off eBay. I do need to get another copy of it. For some reason, it looks fire damaged. As to why, I don't know. I just don't know. So let's try it out. Definitely contacts needed cleaning. Right. So a quick look at this one. I remember going through this one, or starting to go through it. The power. There he is, pure power, this one. Level 10 Bidoof. Why have we all got a thing about Bidoof? So we've got Farouk. Anyone watching wrestling knows, big up Farouk. The Dominator. It's one of the best finishing moves of his time, I tell you. Right. So we've got nothing to see on that one. Now I know for a fact I have never, these are the only games I've not completed, right? I've never completed Black 2, White 2, White or Black. And there's a reason for that. Because when I played them, the overwhelming issue with Patrat, wherever I went, there was just Patrat everywhere. And it seemed like the Pokedex was really limited in Black 2 and White 2. Now, obviously, loads of people say they're absolutely fantastic games, and I'm sure they are, but I've never been able to get past the whole Patrat scenario. I am going to play them, and I am going to complete them, because they're the only ones I haven't completed at any point. Again, the other games, although they're not completed on these versions, I have completed them in the past, just not these Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. Again, the Black 2 and White 2 are quite expensive games now. I've got the cases for all of these, by the way. They're under the bed. But they just take up too much room, so I keep these all in a wallet. And as I say, the cases are pristine under the bed. So X, Y, Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby are the games I've put a lot of time into. I've restarted, I think it was restarted X recently because of the whole Z-A scenario coming out. I've restarted one of these, and one of them I've got quite a few hours in, I believe. Let's have a quick, we'll do this quickly because this video will be about 4 or 5 years long if we're not careful. Let's have a little look. I can't remember if it's this one or the other one. Okay, so this one, we've got 114 hours and we've got 720. So this one is complete with Shiny Charm. Let's have a little look. See if we've got anything fun. Again, I've probably transferred over a lot of these, like the decent ones. Pidgeot's paralysed naturally. Venomoth. But the Pokedex is complete on this one. Obviously, other than the odd legendary I didn't pick up. They've got different. Again, there's something I've not realised. They've got different nationality dexes. So if you trade, you can get them in different. You know, can fill a dex in a different language. That's brilliant. So that's my copy of Pokemon Y. No, X is the one I restarted, so we won't look at that one. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, again, fantastic games. They're one of my favourite games. The way you could fly around, and obviously you could go, you know, it's like a travelling system, you know, flying, and there was obviously all of these different bits and bobs that you could do, like the legendaries were in like holes in or clouds in the sky, like Thunderous and what have you. Absolutely fantastic. So I've done 245 hours on this one, and again we're fully complete on here. J. I don't know why it's called J. It's not even one of my Pokemon. It must be one of the See, these I did a lot of started to do a lot of the mystery trades, and I've got boxes of random Pokemon. Again, I think this is probably being transferred. Yeah, I've just got sort of like the odd. Oh, okay. So we've obviously done a bit of breeding on here because we have many Eevee. Again, I found the breeding centre on this one. Oh, we've got 2 eggs here. Have to hatch them one day. But yeah. We can see all the holes where I've traded bits over. But that, I think this is one of my, along with obviously Heart Gold and Soul Silver, one of my favourite games. I spent a lot of time on here. Not anywhere near what I've spent on the Switch games, mind you, because they're like hundreds of hours. Right. Let's take that one out. And then obviously we moved on to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Obviously we've got the originals there. I'm not going to put them in because they are literally the same game as the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But obviously I played those first, then obviously we buy these. And I can't remember for the life of me. I think it was that one I played originally. Because you always pick one copy, don't you? You always pick one copy that... I mean, with me and my mate, it was like he played one and I played the other. And then, obviously, we'd do the relevant trading that we needed to do. And I just, at the time, I always picked up the other copy anyway. And just didn't play it. But let's have a little look at this one. I can't remember for the life of me how to even look at the Pokemon. Here we are. There he is. A level 76 Patrat. Whoa! Look at the blue eyes on it. Yeah, this is a shiny one. If you're going to have a Patrat, it's got to be shiny with the blue eyes. I have dreams about Patrat, I'm sure of it. I did back then. Plaguing my very existence. Right. Listen up, Master. So, Ultra Sun and Moon. I did find really good games. I did find really good games. They were good for their time. I think, to be honest with you, the graphics on Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was probably on par with Z-A, to be honest. I mean, I like Z-A as a game, and I've completed it, and I've done everything you can do on it. So I'm waiting for the DLC to come out, which I've already purchased because it's a Pokemon DLC. I kind of like have to, irrespective of whether I want to or not. But I've completed all of that, and I've done all the side missions and the quests, and completed the Pokedex, and got the shiny charm and the 1,000 battles, which I might add was a grind. If you haven't done it, it was a grind. So I've not really got any need to pick that up again now, to be quite honest with you, the Legends Z-A. So I'll wait until the 10th when the new one comes out and we'll go from there. But that's my DS collection. I've also got the Japanese versions. Obviously I haven't played these because I don't speak Japanese, and I'd find that quite difficult and tedious. I'd have to do like Google Translate or something to play the games. But yeah, they look. I like how the cases are different colours, top and bottoms. I think that's great. So that's all my collection of the originals of the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, and I've also got, let's move these up a bit, all of the Switch games. Now I'm not going to go through all of them because they're quite recent, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos on them. What I would say is I haven't completed Arceus. I'm going to. I like the mechanic, but it was a case of, for me to remember the controls, because I didn't play it often enough, because I was always playing, I believe it was Pokemon Sword, because the mechanics were completely different. After playing Sword for so long, jumping back into Arceus, it was a difficult situation. I couldn't remember the controls. I was getting killed because I'd got sort of 40, 50 hours into Arceus. I was, playing about with the with the alphas, I'd get killed in seconds, and then my satchel would be going, and then it would be like send out SOS for satchel retrieval because half my stuff was missing. So I've given up with it. I lent my team to another friend so that they could continue on because I'd already trained everything up, and they've still got my team, and I need to restart. So I'm going to restart this. I'm going to play through this because I've completed this one, and I did like it. I did like the game. It was tedious in places because of the battling scenario to get the shiny charm. The only game out of any of these that, for whatever reason, they decided to lock the shiny charm behind 1,000 battles. And yeah, I found myself spending about 5 hours in a cafe trying to beat the same Pokemon over and over again just to get through the battles. Because after the side quests and you've done everything, you still need sort of 400, 350, 400 battles, which is an absolute nightmare because you've got no other way of doing it other than doing the day-night cycle or doing the cafe, continuous battling the same Pokemon. It is just a chore. Whoever come up with that idea needs to play the game themselves for 1,000 battles and see how they like it because it's a grind. It's an absolute grind. So I won't pick this up again until the DLC. I need to play through this. I have played through and completed Pokemon Pearl. And I've done about 40, 50 hours in there. I've done a Pokemon Pokeradar hunt for Camelrupt. I think picked up 4 or 5 Camelrupt shiny, which was great. But again, as the games come on, the ability to shiny hunt, it seems to me like, I know obviously the Pokemon is supposed to be for a younger child. It's a younger child's game, isn't it? Let's be honest. Us old people still like it, but it is a child's game. So I think they've made the shiny hunting mechanic easier. And for that reason, us old shiny hunters, I might just be speaking for myself, but I find that you don't get the same buzz out of it. I just don't get the same buzz. And for that reason, shinies now, really, they mean nothing to me on here. They mean nothing. There's no point. They're just a colour variation. It's not an achievement really anymore. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, shiny hunting was still a thing. You could still sort of just do your blind encounters and still shiny hunt that way, and that was good. So there was still an element in there. But as soon as you get to Scarlet and Violet, they're like 1 in 10 or something, or that's how it seems. I know it's not 1 in 10, but the amount of encounters, especially on the Switch 2 now that you're getting sort of 30 odd, 25, 30 odd encounters in one go, or you can see that in many Pokemon, you can't, it's very difficult to go sort of 10, 15 minutes without coming across a shiny. So, with that respect, I'm kind of done with shiny hunting now. And even in Legends Z-A, you've got the whole bench method, and you finding shinies. I mean, I think I've got 6 or 7 on there in the 60 odd hours I've put into it. 1 every 10 hours just through normal gameplay. I find the odds, too high. And then you've got obviously these 2 games. Just bridging back to these, I have completed, as I say, I've completed it, but it was a bit of a mess, let's be honest. And outside of the normal storyline, there's no reason really to revisit these. So these will be benched on the sidelines. These were really good graphically. I found that Eevee and Pikachu Let's Go were really good games. It's a shame they didn't do a Johto version. Hopefully in the future they might revisit something like that, but I doubt it. It was a mixed review on the catching mechanic, and it wasn't overly reliable, to be quite honest. A lot of people bought the Pokeball to do the catching, and I didn't buy the Pokeball, and I didn't buy Pokemon Sleep or anything like that. but you know, using the Joy-Cons, you could pretend to throw it, and it would go off to the side or something. So it wasn't wholly accurate, to be quite honest with you. So that let that down. And again, the shiny hunting mechanic in that, you had to sort of do a chain of, I think it was 40 odds, I think, and then obviously every time you encountered a Pokemon, it re-rolled, and that, yeah, it wasn't all that great, to be quite honest with you, with these two games. But the games themselves, for a playthrough, absolutely fine. You know, good fun. So, which brings me to my closing thoughts. Obviously, I've got this massive collection of Pokemon. God knows how much it's worth. Other than God knows, CX knows. But I've totaled it up, and I think I think we're getting on to £1,000 now worth of, you know, Pokemon games as the prices go up and what have you. But let me know your thoughts on Pokemon. Oh, I've just realised we haven't talked about this. This wireless adapter. Instead of using the link cables, this. Plug it into the top of your... can I plug it into this thing? I don't think I can. It's got to be into the original... Sure can. There we are. So you plugged it into the top of there, and it was the first wireless scenario where you didn't have to sit next to someone attached to a link cable, hoping to dear God that it didn't fall out mid-transfer, or you just get infuriated and whatever, rip the cable out, which I did on several occasions. But you pop it in the top, and it will pick up people wirelessly, and you could transfer wirelessly, which was great, because obviously we didn't have internet connection with these things, standard native. You know, we didn't click wireless connection and off we went. It was you had to plug a dongle in, and that worked really well, to be quite honest with you. That was the start, the evolution of the whole wireless transfer, which was great. But yeah, as I say, I've only got several games to pick up left in the collection. I will pick those up. But let me know in the comments below any of your thoughts, any games that you particularly enjoyed, which ones you spent most time on, and I hope you liked today's video, found it a little bit more interesting. Leave a like, subscribe would really be appreciated, just so we can try and get this get these videos out to more people. Other than that, thanks very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.